I've loved drawing since I was a child. In elementary school, I enjoyed sketching epic stick figure war scenes on the backs of calendars.
You used to stop this world from spinning. Like Superman, you were the only one to find the strength in all that I was deep.
Hi, I'm Kenharu. I work as a company employee, and I'm also an illustrator on the side. My hobbies include playing games and watching sports. I work at a small art outsourcing company in Japan. Even though I'm officially an employee, I'm paid hourly based on the work I do. My company's main focus is creating illustrations for anime, but we also handle game art and product packaging design. When I first joined, I was in charge of designing full-body standing drawings of characters, which were used for various merchandise. Recently, my main role has been assisting with the art for an indie horror game our boss is developing. It really matches my art style. I've loved drawing since I was a child. In elementary school, I enjoyed sketching epic stick figure war scenes on the backs of calendars. In middle school, I discovered Freeman Cheng's illustrations for the rhythm game Kitus, and was blown away by how dynamic and cool they were. That inspired me to start learning perspective and draw things like cubes and landscapes of buildings. In high school, I shifted to more realistic styles, focusing on sketches and oil paintings for exam prep. It wasn't until later in university that I fully committed to the type of illustrations I create now. I wanted more people to see my work. A friend suggested I try pixiv in addition to Twitter and Instagram. At first, I used pixiv purely as a platform to showcase my art, while my other social media had a mix of personal posts. But after graduating, I got busier and started using all my accounts mainly for sharing art. One major influence was the drawing guidebook, Drawing Course for Creating Realistic Characters by Susumu Nishizawa, which I bought in elementary school. It taught me many techniques I still reference today. Another big influence was my favorite single-player game, Fallout 4. The game has a heavy and immersive story, but it's also full of humorous moments and quirky characters that can make you laugh. I'd love to incorporate that kind of playful element into my own work someday. The game is also brilliant at conveying past events through small details, like items and journals, which has greatly inspired my own storytelling approach. I graduated from a Japanese art university. Attending art university was a great experience overall. It's a fantastic environment if you have a clear goal. The facilities were excellent, and I was surrounded by talented classmates and professors who inspired and motivated me to grow. I wasn't someone who actively voiced my opinions before, but during my time there, I began to propose ideas, invite friends and family to collaborate, and take on challenges together. For example, during an art festival, we built a bubble tea stall out of wood, and it was a huge success. Such a fun experience. One of the most memorable aspects of my university life was the first mandatory course, Fundamentals of Design, which I took shortly after enrolling. As an oil painting major, I assumed the class would be related to oil painting. Instead, the assignment was to design a book. For the first month and a half of university, I didn't get to draw at all, and it felt like I had accidentally joined a design department. At the time, I was so caught up in the excitement of being a new student that I didn't take the class seriously and spent most of my time goofing off. Looking back, I feel like I really missed out. If I had taken that course more seriously, I wouldn't be struggling so much with layout design for my doujinshi now. during my graduation project, where I tackled animation production for the first time. While I wasn't completely satisfied with the final product, seeing the drawings I spent so much time on come to life made me realize how much I'd grown. Before the pandemic, I didn't focus much on studying and spent most of my time playing around. But during the pandemic, I was stuck at home for long periods and spent hours on my phone, where I saw many illustrators sharing their work on Twitter. I found myself envying the attention they got and thought, I want to be noticed like them. That seemingly impulsive reason became the spark for me to start working toward becoming a professional illustrator. The toughest time was right after graduation. I sent out countless resumes, but kept getting rejected, leaving me unemployed for a while. Meanwhile, people around me were getting invited to solo exhibitions or winning awards, while I struggled to make ends meet and had less and less time to dedicate to creating art. The gap between us left me feeling deeply discouraged. Honestly, I still get down about it sometimes, but it's much better now compared to the beginning. Two things helped. Over time, I learned not to dwell on it, and my stress eating shifted my focus to managing my weight instead. It's hard to help it though. Those half-price bento boxes and sushi at the supermarket are just too good to resist. I think the strength of my art is in its storytelling. You'll rarely find characters in my art simply standing there without reason. By adding a story, I want to encourage viewers to explore their own interpretations and enjoy the artwork more deeply. When I first started creating, my goal was to entertain as many people as possible. I was drawn to darker, more violent, and negative themes because they have a strong visual impact and easily capture the audience's attention. I also enjoy incorporating small ideas or Easter eggs into my works. This adds layers of detail for viewers to discover, encouraging them to spend more time with the piece and appreciate its nuances. I like using props to hint at the relationships or situations between characters. My favorites are items like mirrors or canvases that create a sense of time passing. Adding these elements allows me to weave more layers of meaning into my work. After working on such themes for a while, I began challenging myself to create brighter works that make people think, they look truly happy. I find that conveying positive emotions through art is far more difficult than portraying negative ones. This challenge has become a rewarding aspect of my work. I think creating stories with darker themes isn't particularly difficult. For example, drawing someone collapsed in a certain place and adding layers of context, like potential causes of death, can easily evoke a sense of narrative. Since I find this type of storytelling relatively simple, I wanted to challenge myself with something more uplifting, creating story-driven works that are also fun and enjoyable to look at. To convey happiness, I like to show characters doing silly things or getting into humorous situations. For instance, I had an idea for an illustration where a group of people attaches traffic cones to someone's arms and legs, imitating Patrick from SpongeBob SquarePants. That sketch remains unfinished though. Lately, I've been focusing on emphasizing the overall impact of my work, rather than getting bogged down in unnecessary details. That said, I still have a tendency to over-fixate on certain areas and waste too much time. To counter this, I'm trying to practice intentionally stopping at the right moment and finishing my pieces with a balanced approach. The theme has to be something I find interesting, that's a must. Also, working at a high resolution is essential because it makes the drawing process feel so much smoother and more satisfying. I write down any ideas for compositions or themes as they come to me and save them separately. Then, I match the ones that go well together and work on improving them. In high school, I used ultramarine paint for the first time in oil painting class, and was amazed by its beauty. Since then, I've loved using blue tones in my work. My love for blue continues to this day. I started with Procreate, which is very easy to use, but my iPad wasn't powerful enough, so I switched to Clip Studio on PC. Recently, I've been trying Rebel. It needs high-performance hardware, but the realistic brush effects and incredible textures are worth it. You should try it. I never tried to create a specific art style on purpose. My current style developed naturally from years of drawing. It also changes depending on my environment. For example, working at an art outsourcing company has made me adapt my techniques for projects, and that's influenced my personal art too.
You used to stop this world from spinning.